On today's episode, we discuss Notre Dame versus Georgia, and we also talk about how none of the top four teams in the playoff actually made it to the semifinals, and we also discuss a little bit the decline of the SEC. I'm Stephen Connor, and this is the Stephen Connor Show. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back or welcome to the Stephen Connor Show. I'm your host, Stephen Connor. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also, hit that post notification bell so you can get notified whenever I upload a video. Also, I have some sinuses going on. My sinuses are acting up, so I do apologize for that. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. Yesterday, we watched the Sugar Bowl. Notre Dame knocked off Georgia 23-10. First things first is all of the teams that got a bye in this college football playoff, they at home right now. Arizona State, Boise State, Georgia, and Oregon. And they all got sent home. Now, Oregon and Georgia, I understand why they was top two, the top two teams. But Boise State and Arizona State, even though I'll say this, Arizona State versus Texas, it ended up being a good game, so I'm not mad at the seeding for that. I'm not mad. That was a really good game. However, Boise State versus Penn State, the seeding wasn't good for that game because Boise State got whooped. But once again, this college football playoff, 12 team, I heard people doubting it, just like they were doubting the 4-team playoff. And then once again, this first year is showing why it was needed. Because the four best teams in college football are all gone. All the teams with the first round byes, they're gone already. They played one game and they got sent home. Just like how in 2014, I believe it was, the first year for the new college football playoff when it was 4 teams. The first year, Ohio State legitimized it by being the 4th seed and winning the national title. Once again this year, it's going to be somebody who is not a top 4 team in the playoff rankings, who are going to end up winning the title. And that's just mind-blowing. And it'll be hilarious if it was Ohio State once again. But Notre Dame ended up being in Georgia. The SEC now is holding on to dear life to Texas, who were in the Big 12 last year. It's just hilarious to me how Texas is the only SEC team left now. They all got to come and cheer for Texas because Georgia's gone. Tennessee is gone. Alabama ended up getting smoked by Michigan. It's crazy how Alabama started off the year losing to Michigan and they ended the year losing to Michigan, which is hilarious to me. But anyway, that's besides the point. But Georgia fell to Notre Dame. So what happened? Why did Georgia fall to Notre Dame? Their quarterback had some crazy numbers. He had 90 passing yards. Notre Dame's quarterback only threw for 90 passing yards, which is insane to me. He only threw for 90 yards. However, he had 80 yards rushing. And what they were able to do was they were able to hold the University of Georgia to only 62 rushing yards, and they had 154 rushing yards. Once again, their quarterback didn't do anything stellar. He had 90 yards passing through the air and 1 touchdown, but he had 80 yards rushing. You look at the rushing stats, they held Georgia to 62 rushing yards, and they had 154 rushing yards. So what does that mean? It was impressive that they were able to hold Georgia to 62 rushing yards. That means they were the most physical team. They were the team most in the trenches, and they were just all around the better team, the better coached team. Kirby Smart got out-coached. He did. Kirby Smart got out-coached by Marcus Freeman. And we watched it, we saw it, and that's what happened. So the turning point of this game was the end of the second quarter, and it was 6-3. So then it was 6-3. And then right after that, Georgia decided to get aggressive right before half, and it cost them, and it led to strip sack. And then after the strip sack fumble, Notre Dame got the ball, and then they threw the ball, which was his only throwing to passing TD, and he threw it, and it was a touchdown. So then, the beginning of the third quarter, Notre Dame received the ball. They returned the kickoff all the way back for a touchdown. Alrighty. Then they kicked the field goal towards the end of the game. So even though their offense didn't have any big plays per se, the defense was very physical. This offense played very physical. They played a very physical game, and they out-physicaled Georgia. They out-physicaled somebody in the Southeastern Conference. And like we just said, they got bullied for years from the SEC. Not this year. Not this year. They out-bullied the bullied. I keep saying that every year. But that's true. They out-bullied the bullied. They were more physical on defense and more physical on offense. They got turnovers when needed. They got stops when needed. And then when it was time for them to move the chains, they did it when needed. You see, what I liked about Riley Leonard is he's scrappy. He's a scrappy quarterback from what I can see. And what I liked about him is he was obsessed with moving the chains. I watched him flip over, do all types of stuff for a first down. And one of the most creative plays from this game that I really liked was the simple fact that they were down, I believe, in their own 20, and they had the punt team out. Then they ran the punt team off the field and brought back out their offense, Notre Dame. Get this, nobody jumped off sides. They stayed where they were supposed to stay. No movement, no nothing. It was excellent. It was beautiful. And Georgia then ran back off their defense, which if I was Kirby Smart, I wouldn't have done that because I personally don't think they were snapping the ball. You knew they were not going to snap the ball. And he tried to get his defense set, but that half second, they jumped. And then it gave them another first down, gave Notre Dame another first down. I was like, wow, I am watching Kirby Smart, one of the most gifted coaches at finding ways to win no matter what. Get out coached. I couldn't believe he fell for that. And he did. It was shocking to me. It was very shocking to me. Georgia's quarterback did good. He had over 200 passing yards. But at the end of the day, like I said, Georgia they just were not the better team. Their wide receivers, they need better wide receivers. They were dropping wide open balls. Wide open passes. They need, and they've been doing that all year. But they need to fix that. They need to go get some new wide receivers. But other than that, that's what happened. That's basically what happened in this game. Notre Dame outcoached Georgia. Notre Dame was the more physical team, and Notre Dame wanted it more. Notre Dame was more prepared, and they came to win. They go on to play Penn State now in the semifinals. They're one win away from making it to the national title game. And if they're able to stop the run for Penn State, like they were able to stop the run for against Georgia, Penn State is in a lot of trouble. Penn State is in a lot of trouble because Riley Leonard, we know he can run. Can Penn State's quarterback run? If you're Penn State, do you feel comfortable with the game being in the hands of the quarterback more so than your running backs? Do you feel comfortable with that? Because in Georgia, that's what happened. The game was in the hands of the quarterback, and we see what happened. Will history repeat itself with Penn State? We'll find out, and I can't wait to see. Anyway, that's it for me. You let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Like I said, they didn't win this game because their quarterback had 300 passing yards, 5 CDs. They didn't run up the score. No, they played great defense. They had great special teams, and the offense did what was necessary to keep the ball moving. At one point, they at the end of the game, they took off 5 minutes off the clock. They took 5 minutes off the clock, that offense. They scored field goals when needed. They scored the touchdown when necessary. And then, like I said, they had a tremendous defense who were physical, who got forced turnovers and produced stops when needed. Not only that, but they also had some good special team plays as well. And that's what it takes to win, and that's what Notre Dame does to win. That's just who Notre Dame is. They're a great, physical, grimy, in-the-trenches team. And shout out to Marcus Freeman. Shout out to Notre Dame. This is the best win that they've had I've heard in decades, but at least since my lifetime. And they're one win away from the national title game. Alrighty, y'all. Stephen Connor.